Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. It's October 5th, 2014. I'm Logan Burgess. To my right is Cody Bills, back from a long, productive weekend of hunting deer and antelope. Cody, great to have you back here at GrainTV. We had grains moving higher today, corn up 5 cents, soybeans up 9 1/4. We had Chicago wheat moving lower, down 6 3/4. We saw some strength out of corn and beans. Cody, what was making wheat here really lag behind the rest of the commodities?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First of all, we had the U.S. dollar rallying higher here today. That's going to put pressure primarily on wheat, though it puts pressure on all commodities. But wheat, just one of those global commodities where you can really buy it from many different spots, and being competitive on the global market's important, and the U.S. dollar has a big impact on that. So I think that's one of the reasons we saw Chicago wheat here pressured this morning. Also, we saw Egypt's GASC, the results come in from that tender. We didn't see any U.S. wheat actually taken up in that tender. Most of that came from France and Ukraine, so that's a little bit disappointing. And of course, U.S. wheat really not overly competitive here on the global market.
You know, if we look at corn and soybeans here, obviously the big focus right now is harvest pace. If you take a look here at these maps provided by Planalytics, you can see that Thursday and Friday should provide another good window here for U.S. producers to wrap up harvest pace. We got those harvest progress numbers out on Monday from the USDA showing about 65% of corn, 85% of soybeans harvested. So right now, harvest pace is becoming more and more of a non-story here for the corn and bean market in particular. It does look like we're going to have the remainder of the week another very busy ones for U.S. farmers here, really as we look at that harvest pace.
Absolutely, and when you look at Landworth, they also came out, they announced that their yield expectations here, they revised those a little bit lower, not much. They moved them down from 175.9 bushels per acre for corn that they had back on October 22nd down to 175.7. That is not a huge revision, but one thing interesting to note is that it is a change in the trend that we've seen in these revisions. You know, we've always been seeing revisions going higher yield, higher yield. Well, now we have an instance where a revision here is of lower yield, and I think that that is one of those things that that may influence the market here. Not necessarily something that's going to influence production significantly, but it could start to change the tone here.
Right, absolutely. If we take a look and take a look at demand side numbers here a little bit, we did have ethanol numbers out. We did see a slight decline here in weekly ethanol production. You can see here the blue line is the 2014 pace that we've observed so far. Right now, ethanol crush margins remain quite good across the grain belt when comparing it here to 2010, 11, 12, and 13. And production has really reflected that. We've also seen that show up in the basis market as well. We've seen a continuing strength at ethanol facilities when we're looking at spot and forward delivered corn. So as far as prices here and as far as what producers should do with this information, I don't think it's going to have a huge bearing on futures prices. I think it continues to be a basis story. If you're a producer right now looking to sell some corn right off the combine, take an extra good look at some ethanol facilities in your area. Right now, we do see margins historically quite strong.
Absolutely, and let's just talk a little bit about expectations here for Thursday's export sales report. Market's really kind of expecting corn to come in anywhere between 600 and 800,000 metric tons. Soybeans anywhere between 900,000 metric tons and 1.1 million metric tons. And wheat between 325 and 525,000 metric tons. Guys, thanks a lot for joining us today. If you have any questions about what we talked about, please give the office a call. Number is 877-472-4607. And remember, if you're out there on the combine and or you're out in the fields doing some work, do take a demo of our 14-day free trial. See what it's like to watch the markets live on your mobile phone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here Thursday.